Hey guys, it's day 16. This will be pretty quick, just a few things to report. So, first of all, I think I mentioned in a previous video about a mailer I got about an ADHD intensive training certification thing. And I signed up for that today, as I was planning on doing. And there's like 30 hours of content in it. And there's maybe one module that I'll skip because it's about working with kids, but the rest of them I will do, and I am really looking forward to it. So that will be my one training at least for the next week. Um, I want to give myself that flexibility that I don't have to do that in one chunk without focusing on any other trainings, but I'll at least commit to that for the next week. Then I may keep going with it or may take a break to focus on something different and then come back to it. So that's exciting. I'm looking at my notes here. So, yesterday's video, I was clearly like, trying to figure out in the moment, like, what do my boundaries look like with the social media stuff? Like, am I taking just a complete break? And if not, how do I make a change in a way that's still impactful um, and realistic? So, here's what I came up with. And this is a little bit related to a technique that Cal Newport writes about in the book Deep Work, which I've mentioned in an earlier vlog. So he says that rather than like what you'll hear sometimes being suggested is like give yourself periods of time where you're not using those things. So it's like, okay, after 8 p.m., I don't use it, or before 8 a.m., I don't use it. He's like, no, we should be telling ourselves when we do shallow work as opposed to when we don't do it. It should be the exception rather than the norm. So I really liked that. And so that's kind of being my sort of compromise as opposed to a 100% break, is that I'm going to experiment with putting a dedicated 30-minute time slot once a week into my calendar for using Instagram and Facebook. If what I'm telling myself is my primary usage for anything that's like makes it worth all the downsides of having it, is the being able to use it professionally and to make connections in the vegan community, and that's all great. I enjoy it, but really it is the professional use that makes it worth the while. So I can do that all in 30 minutes a week. That is time does not include like crafting posts, which I don't do that many posts a week for my various accounts, but I can do those without being on the app. So I can be designing them in Canva and posting them in an app I have called Later, where I'm not actually on Instagram. I can just schedule it to post. So I can, write out a post and make a graphic for my Facebook group that I want to share. So so actually being on Instagram or Facebook will be limited to those 30-minute chunks once a week that will be in my calendar each week. Um, and then exceptions to that will be sharing my vlog daily on Facebook. And I just like to share the link, even though it's the same link pretty much every time, because it just links you to the playlist and then the most recent video on the playlist. I think people who are interested or who might be interested in finding it, who know me, it just helps to have reminders. So I'm going to post that every day after it's loaded. But that takes 1 second, and I do it from the computer, where I already have, great tip by the way, if you're a Google Chrome user, there's a Chrome extension called Facebook News Feed Eradicator. I've used it for probably years now, and it is instead of seeing your news feed when you just log on to like facebook.com, you see either blank where the news feed would be, or you see like a little inspirational quote. So if I actually want to see what people that I follow or I'm friends with are doing, I have to go to their pages, or I have to use the mobile app, which I only have on my iPod Touch right now. And so that would fall within my 30 minutes of use if I wanted to like scroll through the news feed on my iPod. Then I would have to do that during that dedicated time. But where was I? Let's see. Okay, so sharing the vlog daily. So when I upload that, I'm not even seeing a news feed. So I would have to like intentionally break the rule by like clicking around. to someone's profile or something. And then the other exception will be engaging in my vegan and vibrant Facebook group, because that is really where I want to be cultivating genuine relationships and connection with people who share similar values. So that will fall outside of my 30-minute time. I'm thinking one other exception I didn't write down yet is there are certain times where I need to go into there's a Facebook group for mental health professionals in my region. And sometimes I need to like ask for a referral or see if, search the group and see if someone else has asked a question I have so I can find an answer to it, whatever. So it's a really useful tool. I wish it weren't on Facebook. Hopefully there will be, I have a friend who's working on a platform that could replace something like that. So, but for now it's on Facebook. So that would be the only other exception. So I feel really good about that. And we're going to see how it feels, how 30 minutes a week feels outside of that time off of those platforms, creating posts, and then sharing the vlog and engaging in the vegan group, which realistically won't be much more than probably 10, 20 minutes outside of that 30-minute chunk anyway. So it's not going to add a lot of additional time. Oh, and that also doesn't count the actual Facebook Live video that I do every week, which is about 15 minutes. So that is actively me just sharing like I am here. But yeah, so that feels really, really good. I'm excited about it. Excited about the ADHD training. And I also am geeking out over the GoodNotes 5 iPad app. I had been using Notability for a while, and I was really happy about having recently transferred, instead of doing my client session notes in paper notebooks, because then I can't, like, I just would, that's separate from my like official file for that client where I have to go in and type a short note. But it's like, if I wanted to see like, what did we talk about in that session 3 weeks ago, I'd have to like flip through all these pages to find that. So now each client has their own note and it just continues, which is awesome, and it saves paper. And so anyway, I'd been using that with Notability, and then there's some different things, like I wanted to try a digital planner and some other things, and seeing if I could maybe even use my iPad with the pencil to replace a paper journal. I know people have feelings about that. But for me, I don't think that it would bother me not having the paper journal. And the cool thing is, if I really, really wanted to write in a paper journal, or I wanted to like take a tech-free weekend or something, and I still wanted to be journaling, I could always do a paper journal, take pictures of that, and upload it into my journal on GoodNotes, where it'll be saved, and I don't have to worry about like, oh, well, I only used this journal like 3 times this year, and now I feel like I need to get a fresh one. That's something that I experience a lot with journals, and I do paper planners, and I always abandon them. So, and then I feel like I like have ruined the whole planner, and so I think doing it digitally will really help. And help to kind of organize my brain better. So that's where technology can really work with me. And I love the iPad for that. The iPad, I'm a lot less likely to get that same feeling that I could get because I don't do the same kinds of tasks on it. So that's really helpful, is like, if you have a device that, maybe you do certain kinds of tasks, and then a different device you do other kinds of tasks. But yeah, Notability was not as good for some of these other things that I wanted to use it for, because there's limits in how it organizes the files. And I was reading up on GoodNotes, which was only about $8 to download the app, and there's unlimited nesting, which I love. So I now have my digital planner, my new journal on here, and a number of other things, and that feels really exciting too. So yay for organizing the brain and all the different systems and tools that can support me if I am using them. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Talked a little bit longer than I intended. Just wanted to geek out with you on some of that technology stuff. But that's it for now, and I'll see you tomorrow.